This conference will now be.
Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Ah,
Yes.
yes.
Today is your first session, right? For how many of you it is the first session today? I mean, after the demo. Okay. The first thing is we need to get the access. And hope all of you, most of you are from the demo, right? So today we'll see how do we get the access to the environments, okay? And some basic terminologies of Salesforce. Tomorrow we'll start the session. Is that okay? Or have you seen this already in the last week?
Ram, your voice is breaking too much.
Is it? How about now? Is that same for everyone?
It's same. It's almost same.
It's clear for me.
Because I don't see any issue in my internet connection. Just give me a minute. Let me check the speed. Yeah, it's good. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Chalo. So first thing that we have to do is okay. Before that, so couple of them we have seen the demo. I mean, you have seen the demo last week or last to last week also. So is there anyone who didn't created the access, or is there I mean in Salesforce, or is there anyone who didn't saw the basic terminologies in Salesforce? Shravani,
I haven't
Chaitanya.
seen it.
Okay, perfect. Then yeah, first thing that we are going to do is go to this website called developer.salesforce.com and then go to browse trails, browse all trails, and sign up for this Salesforce Developer Edition. Okay. Here you provide your details like your first name, last name, email address, which is your personal mail ID, which is working. Yeah, and of course, role can be anything. It doesn't matter with Salesforce what is your role, right? It's not that you have to keep admin or you have to keep the development. Whatever the role that you are keeping, it's the same for everything. And give some random company name, even if you are not working, that is fine. If you want to give Salesforce, you can give Salesforce, or even this career IT, anything is fine. So this is some basic info that Salesforce will connect to make sure that how many orgs are associated with a specific organization. Okay. And finally, when it comes to username, it should look like an email format. It must be an email format. Once done, you sign up. What will happen is to the email ID that you have registered over here, it will send a verification link wherein which you can reset your password. Okay. Once the password is reset, you can go to login.salesforce.com and you can log into the system. Okay. So what I use is I will use some plugins, but I've installed this long back. I'll tell you what are these also in future, where I don't want to remember passwords for multiple accounts. Instead, I will store it once so that I can log in at any point of time. So once you log in, this is how it looks in the system. Okay. Any questions till now? Anyone? Good? Bad? Hello? Am I
Yeah, we are
audible?
there.
Okay. No. So what is this? This is the Salesforce org that we have created. This is not a Salesforce login. So you haven't signed up for login in Salesforce. Rather, you have signed up for a org in Salesforce. Okay. How do I know this is an org? So if you go to something called system overview in the setup, this is the place where it will basically tell us like what kind of what is the information that we can store. For example, like how many objects or tables we can create, how much data we can store. Say it says I'm storing around 450 KB, but I can store up till max of 5 MB data. And how many business logics I've written, how much custom logics I've written, what is the percentage of code that I've used, and which license have been used most of the times, and how what is the leftover balance. Everything will be shown, right? So basically we have registered for a space where in which if you see here you can use other licenses. We can allow someone else to log into your system also. Okay, this is not your forced or Facebook login or like LinkedIn login. It's similar to that, it looks similar, but it is way beyond it. This is the place where we'll define the application. Okay. Now, so why do we need Salesforce? To build applications for automating our business process. So how do we do that? So let's say we have an application. For how does it actually look for an end user? So let's come from the right top corner. If you see here, there is a Salesforce logo, right? Instead of Salesforce logo, I can even bring in any custom logo as well. Like for example, let's say Citigroup, right? Citibank. Let's say I want this. This image. If you want to show this logo here, we can add it in future. So during our in future sessions, when we are building the application, so you will be able to replace this cloud logo with your Citibank. Okay. Then next is you can see there is it's like a donut symbol, right? You can see something called app launcher. This is the place where you will be able to access all the applications. In the demo, if you remember, I told you like okay, whenever you are getting a license of Salesforce, you will get some standard set of applications, right? So these are all the standard applications which are given by Salesforce. Apart from one or two, I didn't build anything, the rest all are given by Salesforce itself. Okay. Now, to understand the system easily, so what I'll do is I'll go with sales. I mean, even we can go with service also, it doesn't matter. Go with sales. This is how an application looks for an end user, right? Which means whenever a user is using this, like they have to log into a particular application, this is where he will log in, and this is the only view that the end user will have. He won't be able to access the setup screen that we were able to see. Okay. Now, these are called as tab bars. There is an application name, and this is called as tab bar. And on this tab bar, you can see multiple tabs: home, opportunity, leads, stars, files, whatever might be the application you go with. Let's say I'm going with service now. Right? Application differs, so the concerned reports will differ, so the even other tabs will differ based on the applications and based on the tab that we have defined. It will help me to access. Okay, then what does this tab contains? Tab contains the objects, data in that objects. So we this is the place where we can create our records, or in this tab we can even see the existing records also. When I open one of them, Burlington Textiles, so here I can see the details of the record. Any questions so far? Anyone? No. So coming left a bit right, so this is called as uh, global search in Salesforce. So for example, if I search for a record called boxer, I know there is a record called boxer, but I don't know in which tab it is created. So I just clicked on it. So this will show me this. There's a global search which is similar to your Google search. So in the Google search, what will happen if you search for boxer? It will search for that keyword in the server, and it will show me all the information that I can access. Right? Whichever the information I can access, it will show. Similarly, even this global search also, it will search for that keyword across my org, and it will show all the information that I can access. On the left side, these are the different tables that we have in the system: leads, accounts, contacts, cases, peoples. And if you see, it says in your leads you have one record, and accounts you have zero, contacts zero, everything, right? Now let's say this is my record that I'm working on. So instead of searching from the global search every day, what I can do is I can make this record as my favorite by clicking on this select star. So that whichever tab that I'm on from tomorrow, I can come here, click on the Javanana mark, pick that record that I'm looking for and start working on. So basically it's a shortcut where it will take me to the right record that I really want to work without searching. Any questions so far? Anyone? Okay. Then,
No.
for example, let's say I want to create a contact record. So I'll hit this button. I'll click on new button. I have to give all this information. Right? Around 30 fields I have to fill in the data. Right? But if I want to quickly create, instead of coming here, I can click on this plus, say new contact. From here also I can create the contact. What is the difference, Ram, between this and the direct contact app? So here it will show you only the key fields that are required. Later on you can fill the rest of the fields, but like if you want to quickly create, you can go with this quick actions. We call it as global actions. For every custom tables that we are going to create, we can also create the quick actions, and we can pull them into this global actions event as well. Okay, then this is the guidance center. This is the place where Salesforce will show you all the recent articles, new trailer documents, or new features that they have released, which will help you to define your automate or and make sure that you're aligned with the new features of Salesforce. Then question mark. Let's say, for example, let's say I have opened this Rose Gonzalez record. Okay, I'm trying to follow, but it is not working. Okay, so which is a standard feature of Salesforce, but for some reason, only for this specific record, it is not working. So that is where I have to raise a case with Salesforce because Salesforce as a product they're working with us. So you can go to this question mark. You can go for help and training. And if you scroll down, you can get the support. Or here it will basically ask you to give the credentials of your production, and support will you will be getting the support only if you are a paid user. Okay, we won't get anything. But what all the other informations that we have, so these are all more or less take you to the Salesforce trailer documentations where we can see the release notes. For example, if you scroll down, it says release notes, right? If I click on this, it basically takes me to the recent releases which is done by Salesforce. Every year Salesforce will come up with three releases: summer, winter, and spring. So here, if you go to this current release is spring 24, it will show you like what is the release notes and how many features they have released, what all the features, and every month is there are some features which will released month on month. What are those and what changes you should follow? Everything will be documented. But most of them, 99%, there won't be any effect on your system, so you don't have to worry much about it. But good to go if you really have time. Good to go with the release notes. Then it is setup screen, where this is the place where we will work every day for any feature, right, in admin. So whatever you want to do, right, you first thing that you will go with is setup screen. From here only we'll create the tables, applications, the UIs for those tables, to control that which layout you have to pick, which user you, if you want to control a particular user, or if you want to provide any permissions, write any automations, write any validations, everything will be done from this screen. Okay, then we have a similar setup called service setup. We have two things. One is setup and service setup. What is the difference? Service setup is specifically designed for service cloud features, right? Like email to case, or web to case, omni channel. All this will be there in your service cloud setup. Now, what is the difference between main setup? So in the main setup you will see everything about your user creations, user corrections, or entire sales or service, but standard and custom automation rules, everything can be done over here. In the service setup, only service cloud related features will be shown to you. So when we are discussing about sales and service, we will go to the service setup in future. Okay, and the last one is your developer console. What is this? This is the place where most of us who are developers basically will be working on. So this is the place where I can write some automation rules like triggers, apex classes, asynchronous apex, synchronous apex, and of course the UI components. And I can write some queries to see the data, delete the data, do the transactions, right? If I want to run any anonymous scripts, I can run here. So any entire backend logic can be created over here. And this is the place for notifications. Like for example, if someone have raised a request for approval, for example, if you see here, it says that it is asking me to approve some leave request. So someone have submitted some leave request to me and I have to approve, or in not just lead request, any approval processes, right? So if I have to approve anything, that will be shown to me here, and whether I mean, after me approving or rejecting, it will send a notification to the person who raised a request saying that whether but that particular record is either approved or rejected. Last one is the inspector. It is given by Salesforce very recently, around a quarter back, wherein which it basically shows you the health of your org, like how many users you are using, what kind of access management you have, what kind of configuration you did, all this. So once we discuss about securities and all, so I will show these areas to you. Finally, view profile. So yeah, this is something interesting. Click on settings. This is the place where we can define the details of your own, like your personal set informations, your email IDs, if you want to change your passwords, your time zones, if you want to see your login history, everything can be verified using your my settings. But what is this symbol? So in Salesforce, we have multiple characters according to the feature that we have. For example, if we search for Salesforce characters, right? The one that we are seeing is Astro, basically this one. If you see any videos of Salesforce, any events of Salesforce, more or less you will see these characters. So Astro, Cody, this is called as Cody, and what else? For analytics we use Einstein and all. So why images? Just to attract people. Simple. Okay. Any questions so far? Anyone? And by any chance, if there is any events going on in your areas, and if you want these characters, yes, you can attend them. So it's like a soft toys that you have seen in your childhoods, right? So they will give this soft toys also. So you can attend any Salesforce events that are happening around your areas physically. Of course, this session is not to discuss about the soft toys, but yeah. Okay. Then, so what are we gonna do? So we are going to pick up some application. I think for this session we were discussing about some real estate application. I actually forgot who were there in the initial state of the session. Uh, Anyone was there in the previous sessions where we initiated some real estate application?
I'm there, Ram.
Yeah. Anyone else? Mandeep, Vishwa, Shravani, Chaitanya, Priyanka. I know she joined yesterday.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm there. Right. Uh,
So anyway, so what are we gonna do is, instead of learning, so let me just open the introduction sheet. This is something that everyone have seen, right? Now, so here. to build this feature, right, or to understand this, so what we will do
Ram,
is, sorry,
yeah,
I'm sorry, you're saying something.
your screen gets stuck for me. Yeah, now I am able to visible. Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. So for the applications that we just saw, right, sales, service, and all. So these are the applications which are already given by Salesforce. It has defined some automation rules already, which will help you to drive through the entire process of the system. Let's say how we'll get the inquiry, how we can convert this inquiry into customer information, everything, right? Now to understand that flow, it is must to understand these features. Okay, but the problem is like understanding these features directly instead of picking up each and every feature and discussing, right? So what are we going to do is tomorrow we will start with some application. I think for some of the folks we have already started with some in real estate based application. So generally when we pick any application, right, so what will happen is in your organization, for example, the current organization that I'm working on, any other organizations, right? So if I have to define an application, first the business users will come, right, and we will have a workshop with them, right, to understand their existing business process. Of course the technology will be decided once they come. We'll see the feasibility and we'll see whether Salesforce is the right fit or not. Once we decide that yes, Salesforce is something which is correct for this particular requirement, that is where we will have a workshop of week or 2 weeks to understand what they are doing in their business. Okay, and then during that workshop, we will start gathering some basic data model. Like we'll build some basic data model. We'll gather the inputs from them, like when in which case they are writing the validations, or in which case they are sending email notifications, automations, or in which case they are creating some records, in which case they are deleting the records, how many types of personas or how many types of users they will have, which user will have what access, right? All these things will be gathered during that workshop, and we will build the application slowly, sprint wise, and we will in an agile way, and we will hand it over to the business. Of course, once the application is built, for example, let us say I came to your organization and I said, okay, I need for example that Citibank application. So I said like, hey, I have a bank. As of now, I'm using all the transactions using manually. Now I want you to automate my business process using some application. Now Bhargav said like, yes, okay, I'm gonna build a application in Salesforce. I was very happy. So I have given all the budgets that he requested for. He formed your entire team. Everything is done. So I said like, I will have customers, we'll do the transactions, I'll give loans, everything is sorted. He built a very beautiful application. But after building the application, will he simply hand over to me with a blank space and say, okay, Ram, this is the application, everything is set, and you'll start using it? Or as I was already doing some transactions in my bank for quite some time, maybe for 3 years or 4 years, I'll definitely have large volumes of data, right? Bare minimum 1,000 records for every table that we have. Worst case, right? So where the data will be included in the system? Because for me, if I need my application, it must have all the existing data also, right? So it is our job to load that data also, right? So all these things are covered in this application. For example, initially we will discuss about data model, like how many tables we need, what kind of relations that we have to define in that, and what are the rules that we can define, how do we avoid the duplicates, and what kind of automations we can do, like which formulas we have to write, all this. Post that, we will discuss about UI. For example, let's say I have two different users. So which user should see which fields? how do we show them on the UI? All this will be discussed in your user interface. Okay, so data model is ready, UI is ready. Then we'll discuss about security. This is one of the important concepts of Salesforce, and if you are very much clear about the security, majority of the course is easy. Security and automations. These two are very very important. If you are planning for any vacations, please try to avoid your vacations during these two, right? Because most of your interview questions, certification questions, of course your work in future will be tightly binded with these two features. One is security and the automations. This itself will take around 1.5 week, if I'm not wrong, right? In this 20 hours, at least somewhere around 10 hours will be consumed by these two features only. Okay, now think about the importance. Somewhere around 7 to 8 hours, not completely 10 hours. Now, so when it comes to security, like how many personas we have? Let's say I have a junior manager, senior manager, requester, approver. So how do we define security for them? What is a profile? And how, let's say a particular record should be shared only with Bhargav. What should I do? Or let's say I want to, whatever the data that Bhargav sees, I have to define a rule such that his entire team, let's say he has a team of 5 members, all 5 members should be able to see what we can do. Can we automate this, or is that manual process? So all this we will discuss in your security concept. And coming to automations, so why do we need automations? Anyone? Do we really need automations?
To save time and efforts.
So, for example, in one of my applications, the business user came up very recently, right? Like I've started one building one application from past 1 week. So he said like, okay, Ram, I have 12 people. Okay, great. And he typically wants to tweak the existing sales application given by Salesforce. I said, okay, that is also good. But later, what he said, the information that he has given is always partial. Okay, and my team was not able to understand. Of course, it's not a problem with him. He is also new to the technology, so he also don't know what information should be provided. So when I was having a conversation with him, I said like, okay, uh, why can't we rediscuss about the process that you follow in your business? So while he was telling, he said like, okay, I have around 50 columns in an Excel sheet where first Ram will fill the data for 3 or 4 fields. Then the one after filling that 3 or 4 basic fields that he can, then he will go to Bhargav, ask Bhargav to fill that. Then it will go to Shravani. Then it will go to Manideep. Then it will go to Vijaya. So this is what the flow he told me. Then I said, okay, in this case, how, I mean, on what basis or how Ram will communicate this to Bhargav? He said, okay, Ram and Bhargav are sitting next to each other. So he'll just go there and say, hey, Bhargav, can you fill the rest? There's what he does. Now, my point is, okay, what if now Bhargav have moved his location to somewhere else? So either you have to ping somewhere or you have to send an email. So my point is, why can't I, after filling my data, once the record met some criteria, why can't I ask the system to send an email to Bhargav saying that, hey, Ram have filled some information. From here, it is your turn. So to mature that record. Post that it will go to Shravani. Post that it will go to Priyanka. Something like that. Or when Ram is filling the data, does it mean that he can fill any random data? No. There are some criteria, right? Like let's say if you are using amount field, I can't simply say amount as one all the time, right? So when you're doing transaction, you will have a minimum values. So what is that? Or let's say they have a plan date or start date of a particular process. So when I'm giving a start date, generally it should be in a future dates. So what should I do so that Bargo won't enter any past dates? So such things comes under validations. And when Barker has completed a transaction, let's say I want to create a particular child record or process some record by writing some approvals. So all those automations we will discuss in this. So we are set with the data model, we are set with UI, security and automations. Then we'll go to your sales and service. So here we will again see these features like we'll see how Salesforce have built this sales and service cloud applications now, right? And these are some of the standard automations which are given for these processes. So we'll go through each and every process and we'll see how does it work. And the process that I mentioned over here, right, whether it is web to lead, web to case, opportunity generation, all those are defined only for sales cloud and service cloud. Okay, if you are only working only for sales cloud or service cloud, then only these features will work, and we'll see how those things will. Post that, I was telling you, right, after building the application we have to load the data. That's where we'll use this feature called bulk data loading, where we use some tools to import the external data, and we'll see how do we extract the data from Salesforce also. That completes your entire applications and understanding about the existing standard current sales and service. Post that, we will discuss about your reportings, because now we have the data. Now you need to visualize what the system, so that you will understand whether you are making profits or you are going for losses. That's where we'll go with your reporting structure. Any questions? So this is what the process that we are going to follow from tomorrow. So initially, yeah, we will go little slow so that everyone are up to the mark, right? Once people are set, maybe within 2 3 days things will be set. Then we'll go with the right speed. Is that okay? Any questions, anyone?
Nothing. Ram, I have a small question actually.
Yes.
My name is Mandita. In the application, while you're showing about the notification, etc., on the tabs, there will be something like classic and letter. What is the difference between those?
Okay. Classic and light.
Classic and
I'm
light
not
in the
going to
application
discuss
is
anything
different.
about classic, by the way, because classic is gone case. So let me. This is classic. There's how your it's basically the user interface. Okay. So classic was there till 2014. In 2014, Salesforce came up with Lightning. Okay. Out of 100% of Salesforce applications built in the market till date, almost 99.99% of the applications were already moved to Lightning. Right. For example, some of the features of Classic were already retired. For example, there is one automation rule called workflow. So when I started my career, if I want to write any automations, or the only feature that we know is workflow. But now Salesforce have retired that. So you cannot write any automations in your classic features. So we use something called flows now. Right? Data model is same, everything is same. Only thing is the UI differs between classic and lightning. The same features we will discuss there also. And features like page layout, all this, but no one is using classic.
Just to find out the difference. That's all. Thank you.
It's been almost a decade, right? 2014. Now we are in 24. So, but basically, what Salesforce does is like, uh, let's say if there is a feature, for example, workflow, right? So when it says that it has retired workflows, it doesn't mean that it won't allow you to use the existing workflow. Basically, stops you to create any new workflow, or it basically stops you to modify. What Salesforce will tell us was, we have winded up workflows around 6 years or 7 years back. Now, going forward, please move your business logics to the new features that we are suggesting. And there are tools where they will support you with the tools where we can migrate those features also. Okay.
Okay, got it.
No interviews, no certifications, nowhere you will see this classic feature.
Oh, yes, got it.
Any other questions, anyone? It's the same thing. Like for example, in the app launcher we are used to see there, right? So this is nothing but the app launcher for classic. So similar sales, similar service, everything will be shown to you here. But the UI was little different. For example, Burnington Textile, the same record if I'm opening, see how does it look like? Very old and all. And it see everywhere it clearly tells you like boss use lightning, right? And meanwhile, by the way, I forgot. So whenever I'm discussing, right, and when I'm asking any questions, if you want to make a note of those questions, please make a note of it, because every feature that I'm discussing, right, I will discuss about your certification questions as well. What kind of questions you will be asked, and which area they'll touch. It's not that which is important and which is not important, but yeah, each and everything is important, but what kind of like, for example, if they're asking questions on relations, so what kind of questions will come? And when we are discussing about any automations like flows, what kind of questions will come? What kind and if it is the interview, so what is the features that they'll touch, all those things. Yeah. And anyone from India from this batch?
Yes, I am
Yeah,
from
me,
India.
Ram.
Okay, from okay, good. Any other questions, anyone? So please make sure that you're not missing the sessions from tomorrow. And as I said, I want you to spend at least 15 minutes every day post the session. Today it's okay. First session we have nothing, but from tomorrow we'll start building the data models. So the exercises that I'm giving you, that I'm gonna give you, will take 10 to 15 minutes every day. So, and of course you will have your own Salesforce orgs with you. So let us see if we can build a application in your orgs, and once in a while I will ask you people to share the screen, so which means you must be always updated with what is going on in the session. Yeah, clear. Okay, then that's all from my end. Let's catch up tomorrow. Yeah, bye. Bye everyone.